Today is October 12th, 2020, and this is the Nicholson Nugget, the official newsletter of the Law Office of Martin Nicholson. And today I'm here with, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Jessica Norfleet.
And she's here to talk to us about this business that she created involving paralegal services. Is that correct?
That is true.
All right. So go ahead and introduce yourself as far as a little bit about your background.
So I have been a paralegal here in Indianapolis for about 10 years. I've worked in various law firms focusing on anywhere from medical malpractice, personal injury, criminal law, family law. I've done some appellate work, some workers' compensation, kind of have had a broad view of different areas. I started to find the need for attorneys in the area, particularly small firms, solo practitioners that sometimes just need administrative help from time to time. So with that, I created Indy Paralegal Services, LLC, to meet the needs of attorneys, projects that they can dial in and order, small projects such as travel arrangements for mediations or depositions to large projects and helping assemble appellate briefs and getting them e-filed through the system and so forth. So that's a little bit about me.
So you mentioned it's called Indy Legal Services?
Indy Paralegal Services, LLC. Okay. So my website is indyparalegalservices.com.
Okay, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and when I post up your bio, I'll include your website link on there too. Awesome. And that'll have your contact information. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now on your website, is there pricing information, or do people need to come in to kind of get a customized view of how much it would cost?
Yeah, we don't have pricing listed. It kind of varies per project, what's expected, if there's an emergent rush on it, things of that nature. So I really like to talk with my attorneys and find out what it is you're wanting before we discuss any sort of fees or things like that.
Okay. Now, I think you may have mentioned how, because you said you have a background in all these personal injury and criminal law. So how long have you been a paralegal, or how many years of experience do you have?
I've been a paralegal almost 10 years. The last year of college, I interned at a firm where I'm from in Fort Wayne, Indiana, focusing a lot on insurance defense. So I really dove in on defense mode, got hired in down here at a firm practicing mainly defense work, and just recently, probably the last 3 years, have dabbled with the plaintiff's work. So it's been really refreshing to kind of see both sides, know what to expect, and things like that.
Okay. And to be a paralegal, is there any kind of special, like a school or training or certificate that you have to go through to be a paralegal?
Yeah, I mean, I think it varies based on what type of career choice you're looking for. I got my paralegal degree from Ivy Tech in Fort Wayne. It was really good for me. I was an adult student. It was a fast-paced program. It allowed me to connect with different attorneys in the area that could give me experience to add to my resume out of college. I really think that was helpful in landing a job down here once I moved. I know that there are certificates that you can get. There are programs where you can become a registered paralegal or a certified paralegal. It's really all on preference and, what your employer is expecting of you.
What got you into the paralegal field, made you want to become a paralegal?
I've always had an interest in the legal field. I am what you would call a crime junkie. I love the podcast and the datelines, and I really like the investigative work. I like to research, analyze, and then overall help people. I really like advocating for our clients and, getting them through some of the toughest times of their lives.
When you said that you're a crime junkie, is your main paralegal background in criminal law, or is it, because it sounded like you mentioned a lot of insurance?
Yeah, I've only had maybe 2 years of criminal law experience in a firm I was working at. I was paralegal and office manager, and we kind of did a broad view of everything. So I got to get my feet wet in the criminal world there, and then was able to train other employees that then took over that role, but still kind of had it all around me. So I like the crime junkie aspect, I'd say, personally and in the career world. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I totally understand that because I practice a lot of criminal defense, and so it takes, I think, a special kind of person to be involved in those kind of cases. Uh, so when you recognize that you wanted to follow in this field, what drew you from Fort Wayne, which I think is what's Allen County?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They have a nice courthouse up there. It seems like
Beautiful
yeah,
courthouse.
yeah.
Yes.
And so, what brought you here to Indianapolis?
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking.
No, it's okay. Work really brought me here. My family and I were in a transitional period in life. And so my husband at the time was unemployed, searching for work. I'd always had the desire to come down here. I never felt like I was a small town girl. I always loved coming to the city. Chicago is one of my favorite places ever. So he got a job down here. I started looking. Honestly, it was a lot easier for me to gain employment down here than it was up there. And I've just been here ever since. I have some friends that are in the legal field up there, and we'll compare processes. And I'm always like, I'm happy I'm here. I like our processes. I like how we do things, and Marion and the surrounding counties. It's very different up there in the northern part of Indiana. So
yeah, northern and southern part of Indiana.
that is true. Us central people, we are just like different breed, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. So is your paralegal services just for people in Indiana or central Indiana or outside of Indiana?
I'd like to keep it pretty close-knit Indiana, more so the Indianapolis area, because that's what I'm familiar with. That's where, if I were to be overloaded and couldn't take on the project of the attorney, I've got some good paralegals in mind that I could say, hey, are you interested in doing this? Whereas maybe in the northern region, I'm not as accustomed to their ways, but I would say Indiana as a whole, I would like to keep it.
So you said that you would refer someone to them. So walk me through the process. If do I call you? Do I email you, or how do I? Okay.
Call, email. We have a link on our website that you can send a request in. I prefer, if it's a brand new client or a brand new attorney coming in that needs help, I prefer a Zoom meeting or a phone call, just to kind of get to know each other, know what their expectations are of me, what they're looking for. It's just easier, I believe, to connect either by phone or Zoom, just so everyone's on the same page, versus emails back and forth, which is then cutting down the time of getting the job done.
Okay.
So I would have a conversation, kind of see what is needed for the project. I would begin the project. I would check in periodically. I would send drafts. Is this what you're looking for? Because with this service, it can be difficult in the beginning, getting to know the attorney and what they like and their style and their preferences. So in the beginning, I think it would be probably some walking through, teamwork together, collabing. But then in the future, if that same, attorney has another job, I think it would just become smoother and smoother as time progresses.
Okay. And then most of your assignments, I'm assuming, are they remote, or do you go to the office of that a particular attorney, or do you send someone?
I prefer remote, one, because of the environment that we're in now with COVID, two, because I typically do this evenings, weekends, things like that, early mornings. So I do prefer remote, but I'm absolutely open to going to the office, whether it be picking up documents, dropping documents off, doing a scan of whatever it may be. That's definitely a possibility as well. But I think for project-wise, getting the work done, it's a virtual platform.
And do you do all the work, or do you have other paralegals that work with you or that you employ, or how does that work?
At this time, it is just me. As time progresses and hopefully things grow and take off, I would definitely like to have a team that is just cranking out projects and work and jobs and so forth. But for now, it's me, and I've got a backlog of a handful of good paralegals in town that I've worked with and know really well and would really trust to give a project to.
Okay. And I know you gave a brief list of some of the projects that uh, work on. Could you give a little bit longer? Like if someone said, "Hey, I need you." Obviously, when we think of paralegals, at least when I do, I think of them like typing up documents. But what other things that paralegals do that some people may not really be familiar with that you could help out?
Yeah. I mean, projects could be anything from drafting pleadings, helping with discovery, whereas either getting the answers from the client, working with the client, gathering the documents, sending out non-party requests to various providers that the attorney may need these and just really doesn't have the time to do. E-filing. I know a lot of attorneys in the area are not fond of it. And so for me, I mean, I do it every day. It's just, it would take the load off of them, give it to me. I can get it out and we won't have any errors. Even things like traveling, hotels, flights, Uber rides, or setting up for your clients. Your clients are coming to town for a deposition. We can arrange all of their travel expense or travel arrangements as well. Another thing that I've done is accounting, balancing the receivables and client payments and paying expenses, summarizing the expenses for the month. I've created a whole QuickBooks program for one attorney and got him very organized, and he's very well off now compared to the stack of papers and receipts that he came from. So all things like that. I was an office manager for quite some time of a law firm, so I like to think that I could consult, certain areas of a firm if, they just can't seem to hammer out a certain problem, and maybe ask for, a little bit of advice from someone that's worked as a paralegal and an office manager, maybe an outsider looking in that can provide some tips. So a wide range of things that we can offer.
Awesome. That's great. I didn't think of some of the other tasks like you mentioned, like accounting or just getting things
Yeah.
kind of organized, or planning.
Yeah.
Some of those things, we sometimes don't even think of. We can kind of think of, maybe a secretary, or maybe I have to do everything myself. And then fail to realize that, hey, here's someone that can do it. I like the idea of the remote, just because of not only, like you said, the environment that we're in, but also the reducing the office footprint, where you don't have to go in to the office and then the space. It seems like it because of the pandemic, that people may have started shrinking some office space, because it's like, hey, everybody's working remotely. I do really need all this space. So recognizing that you apparently have your own space to work in and your own equipment, It seems like that would be a bonus for an attorney that is, like you said, a small firm just starting out, may not have a lot of space, may just start working from home,
Yeah.
that you would be able to do that.
Yeah, that's another thing that we can help with is kind of merging from the paper format to a digital format. Because I know, especially now, a lot of attorneys are kind of transforming from the office setting with all of the paper files into more of the digital world, home office. So that's another thing that I can help with, is just getting things organized and, setting up the directories of how to find things and things like that. So it can be very time consuming and a large project, but to me, it's very much worth it. I'm a paperless girl, so yeah.
So, is there anything else that you would like to tell the listeners before we leave about your firm or you?
I would just say, we take on all size projects, nothing too big, nothing too small. Even if you're unsure if it's something that I could help with, give me a call, shoot me an email, visit the website and reach out and let's have a discussion and see if there's anything that I can help with.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for being here. And I'll be sure to post your bio and your contact information. But if someone wanted to reach you right now, what number should they call?
They should call 317-544-0972. That's my cell. You can call, text, whichever way you prefer.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being here today with us. I really appreciate
Thank
you
you.
stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.